Good evening, hello, and welcome to a very, very, very hyped day here in ILR Tier 2, their very first season, of course. Round number 10, we've finally come to the prestigious Yas Marina circuit here at Abu Dhabi for our ILR Tier 2 Championship finale. So, first of all, joining me in the combox is Mr. Ollie, aka Chokemaster. And how are you doing on this very, very, very excited day?
I'm buzzing, man. I'm really looking forward to this final race. We've got a title decider between overkills and height. So I know we've only got 10 drivers, but it's intensifying. I'm really looking forward to the final race in Abu Dhabi here.
Indeed, that makes two of us, of course. So the gap between the two leaders is 7 points. Height advantage, though, for the Haas driver for Legacy eSports up against V6 eSports. I don't know if I'm allowed to mention that, but I am anyway because we're the fun guys here in Tier 2. So it's 133 to 126, 7 points separating them. It is, we believe, now we could be wrong about this front, but we could be right. It is advantage height due to race victories. So if Overkills were to win this Grand Prix and Height were to come second, he would still be champion. Height has to not finish on the second place in that podium positions to not be crowned champion basically today. If he finishes third and Overkills grabs the race victory, then he will be champion. Only a 10-man grid today, Ollie, so not really too much competition, but the guys behind are going to try and upset, and even potentially a little bit of trickery within the works. Of course, two V6 lads working together, and potential Legacy Esports lads of Vapiku and Janji working together with Height. So who knows, for a bit of trickery.
Definitely, you know, team orders will definitely come into play, and working as a team rather than individuals, I think, tonight, Jack, with trying to secure Height's victory, and also maybe the V6 team trying to get that win. But you can't count out Chris Macca-Jones and his army that join us in the chat hopefully very soon. He's also a front runner we've seen in the past, so I think we've got quite a good grid for tonight, and hopefully we don't see any dirty driving regarding team orders and stuff, but we'll have to wait and see, Jack. Hopefully Abu Dhabi does throw us up a fantastic race here. Hasn't in the past, so I'm hoping, fingers crossed, we have a good race tonight.
Indeed, the Chris Macca-Jones lads are already out with Miss Brockway coming to chat saying, "Come on, Mac, it's a lovely to see."
There we go.
Them out in full force yet again. They're always here. You got to say fair play to their commitment. They're like a local football team supporter. They're always out in force and ready to sing their hearts out for Chris Macca-Jones. But of course, the two protagonists today, you've got to say, are Height and Overkills, but very much a bit of anything could be thrown up today. Who knows what's going to happen? We certainly don't know. We wish we did. Already hit 15 viewers in the stream, so thank you very much for the support so far. That is incredible early support as the guys come along to cheer on either Height or Overkills, or even Chris Macca-Jones if you are a Chris Macca-Jones fan, of course. And of course, what a better place to end than Abu Dhabi. I mean, in my opinion, you've got to say Interlagos is the better place, but you know, who's to say what we can have? We get what we're given, and we're given a beautiful track in the Yas Marina. I can sense, Ollie, a little bit as if to say, yeah, I'm probably right with that fact, but it's still a good track, the Yas Marina circuit, and you've got to say, Ollie, some great side-by-side action can happen here.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic track in the game because it's not realistic as it is in real life. We've seen the past in real life where people be stuck behind each other for a very long time. But in the game, we've seen even, you know, last season at the end of the eSports Jack, we saw Brendan Lee and Donoso going side by side the very final lap. So this track can throw up some great action. Of course, Jack, the pit, it goes underneath. I've seen quite a few drivers during commentary crash under there. So hopefully we don't have that tonight, but you never know with these on F1 2017.
Indeed you don't. Lap times are just now coming in. Height actually invalidated his first lap, so Janji's teammate, will he be the first man to set a lap? No, I think he also invalidated. So unless my timing screen is glitched, then it's not been a good start for both the Haas boys, because both of them seem to invalidate their laps. But around the final corner, the WR Peanut, what about the McLaren? Is he going to be the first man? Runs a little bit wide out the final corner, up to the line, 37.9 for him. So, yeah, we do have a time finally on the board. Burnout, of course, we've got Overkills actually, championship contender. Of course, we need to keep mentioning them. Julian just then slots into P2 with a 39.6. So, a pretty off first lap for him, but up to the line for Overkills. And it is actually another invalidated lap, but it would have been a 36.5. So, still a promising sign for him. But then Burnout, his teammate, goes quickest. So, the Williams driver 37.4. Not a 2-man lap, half a second clear of WR Peanut. And then splitting them is Vapiku with 37.7 for Renault. not a too bad lap time. That puts him currently on the provisional front row of the grid, but still more than half the field to go. But Chris and Harley, both in the pits, they are taking their time to get out of the pits for their first runs, which is surprising, really, because it's a long track, Ollie.
Yeah, it is. It is quite a long track. 5.5 kilometres, of course, around this track on the Yas Marina Island here in Abu Dhabi. Yeah, I mean, maybe they're just trying to do something different. There's only 10 drivers in the lobby, Jack. They know they're going to start on. They don't go out. They'll start on brand new, fresh tyres. And maybe that's their thinking. I mean, personally, I'd always go out just to get a feel of the track, the conditions-wise. But yeah, strange moves for some of the drivers down below. But the top guys should be coming in now to put a new set of tyres on and see. Of course, Hype, who's done an invalid lap, hopefully he can get up near the top of the grid with 6 minutes 18 left for the session. As Giangi, I'll get that right for the very first time after about 4 commentaries, is on pole with 36.1.
Indeed, fantastic lap, actually. 1.3 seconds clear of burnout, so he's immediately come out and stamped his authority on the Grand Prix and said, yep, I'm here to grab another race victory. You've got to say, it has been brilliant from Giangi ever since he first entered the league. Of course, now P4 in the championship has actually a chance, a very outside chance, to claim P3 today if basically he wins and Chris does not score a single point, or actually if Chris scores 1 point in 10th, and then on count back it will actually go to Giangi because he has the more race victories. But that still means, you've got to say, he has really come in and shown what he's all about in this league, and potentially a sign that heading into Season 2, he is going to be someone to keep your eye on for the moment.
Definitely. I mean, Giangi's come out of nowhere. I personally never heard of him before he came into play later on in the season, and he's been an absolute sensation since coming into this league. And I mean, he's definitely, like you said, Jack, one to watch in the second season on F1 2018. And of course, Jack as well, the winner of this league also wins a copy of F1 2018. So, I mean, there's even more to play for that reason. But of course, Giangi can't win it this season, but yeah, definitely one to keep an eye on in this race and for the next season, Jack.
Yeah, of course, a copy of Season 2 of ILR awaits, most importantly, let alone F1 2018, the second opportunity to have a go at the ILR Championship. And potentially as well, both the drivers that we see at the moment, which are, of course, Overkills and Height, could very much be in Tier 1 next season if they can decide to turn the line off and keep that pace. Who knows, because then all of a sudden, Ginger, Andy and James and Diablo, of course, James, whatever you want to call him, they might be stunned by the new appearance of our Tier 2 lad, repping it for us, of course, heading into the second season. But everyone is now making their way into the pits, which has that little bit of a quiet phase in this moment. And still, we have not had lap times from 4 different drivers. But it looks to be at the moment 2 of the guys' first laps were definitely off the pace, a 39.6 and a 39.7 for Formula Rager in 6th and Julian in 5th. But that so far is your story of quality. And just as I say that, Harley and Height actually have made their way out to the pits. Height back out on Ultrasoft, so he just wants to go for it and he wants to get high on the field. No mucking about from the championship contender today, which is to be expected.
Yeah, exactly. You can't take any risks, Jack. You take any risks in the final round, okay, it may pay off, but these drivers and the track and the game are so unpredictable. You can't take any risks here. And I mean, Hype now just starting he's on his outlap with Overkill's Harley as well. Oh, they have to go for it, Jack. 3 minutes 30. It's enough time for 2 laps, I reckon, but they're going to have to really push to get these laps in there. And hopefully we see a very tasty battle for the pole. I'd love to have Hungary, but in Abu Dhabi. Again, that would be brilliant. If they could do that, if they could remake Hungary in real life here, that would be perfect. Please, guys, do something like that.
There you go, lads. The challenge has been put up by...
I need some rain first.
Yeah, rain in Abu Dhabi. You never know.
Yeah.
F1 2017 has produced weirder things, so yeah, you never know. So it could happen. But, as you mentioned, of course, Height actually he is filled up for 2 laps. So he's got 4.2 in his tank, so he could very much be going for him. But judging by the time, it looks like he's going to have enough time for 1, so this will be it for him. He invalidated his first lap, which is probably a little bit of a worrying sign for him, because, of course, if you invalidate your lap, that's it for you, and especially on this lap when it all matters. He set a 36.4 for his first lap, so it would have been provisionally P2 behind his teammate, so a Haas 1-2 for the time being. Overkill set a 36.5 for his first lap. I'm not looking at the race record, I remember it's off my head. So please forgive me if I'm wrong. But Height, of course, is now flying his way down towards the first sector split. And let's see what the first sector split is. It's a 17.4. Whether that is actually right according to our race director, we'll have to wait and see. There's an easy section to cut, by the way. The section he just went through. It was actually 17.3. So it is actually quicker than his first provisional time, which was a 17.4 first sector. So managed to find just under a 10th. He's now down the massive first of the 2 DRS straights. Of course, you get them in a kind of double lit. You get them out of turn 8 and 9. So if you get them done out of turn 9, you might even have the position still going into turn 10, because of course they have the second DRS zone, so turn 11 is actually officially called, because turn 10 apparently is the national pit straight. My apologies, there's the detection zone. Now he's down towards there, he's got a car in front of that. Is actually overkill. So there you go, ironically. The 2 championship leaders technically just went side by side in qualifying. How about that? But now they're down towards turn 11, this very tricky section here, which is easy to go side by side at. I would say easy, it's actually very difficult to go side by side towards the end of it. But watch out for drivers daringly try it, but I'm sure the championship leaders will be absolutely worried as hell, and probably with brown trousers heading into that section. He's now down towards the very daring braking section, that is turn 17. Now under the Etihad Hotel, of course. It's beautiful. I'd love to go stay there someday. It's another life aspiration of mine, but not quite just yet. I haven't quite got all of the pennies. But he's now around turn 20 towards the final corner. And what's it going to be for heights? Ollie, where is he going to go?
Second. I was right.
Boom! Boom! Look at that!
Prediction finally right here in ILR.
History has been made today. Oh, remember this day. The 10th of August 2018, the day Ollie got a prediction right.
Yep, I'll never do it again though, Jack. You'll never ever get a prediction right again. But yeah, great lap from height. You still got enough time for one more lap with 38 seconds to go as well.
He has indeed. He has timed it to perfection. Let's see if the Haas driver does. I would expect him to. Apparently he's down on his first sector, only just of about half a temp. Very, very easy to actually not really gain a lot of time there. It's such a quick and tight section. There's no really too much time to gain, except that at turn 1, and maybe potentially if you slightly muck up out of turn 3 and run a little bit wide. But with these lightweight 2017 cars that we continue to talk about that are so grippy, it's just very easy to do. Chris, by the way, just gone P6. But he's on the soft compound tyres, 37.8, and actually now retired from the session, which will mean he starts on them. So a very different strategy coming from the Mercedes driver.
Yeah, him and Harley both going for the soft tyre. I mean, it's up to them. I mean, they're doing something completely different, so we'll see what they can do. Keep an eye on Chris, of course, with his fan base and with his driving, and Harley as well. Both very competitive drivers, so keep an eye on those guys. Janji has gone faster with a 35.9, Jack.
He has 3 tenths clear of his teammate, but he is actually around the final corner, so will the other Haas topple him in a championship scrap? He's up to the line for height. It's not for... Oh, it's 12 thousandths. He's missed out on pole position. For now, it is a Haas 1-2, and it's separated by just over 100th of a second. That is almighty. That is ridiculously close. Let's have a look to where Overkills. Overkills is going slowly, by the way.
Made a mistake.
In the third sector.
Yeah, no, mistake in sector 2, Jack. And yeah, he's just slowed completely down. No idea what he's doing.
It will be the back of the field for our championship contender today, whilst his championship rival is currently second. Everyone else, by the way, is pretty much not on a lap. I believe Formula Ranger might be the only one on an actual lap here at the moment. Burnout's going slowly, so yes, it is just the Sauber. Overkills, of course. If he's going to set a lap, we've got to start P9 because Harley has not set a lap time. But for this moment in time, nope, it's not gone through. So our championship contender is going to start from the back, and as it stands, it will be height second. But will he be third? Because Formula Ranger is around the final corner. Judging by his lap time, it doesn't look like he's anywhere near him. He's up to the line, and it's P8. So it is second and 10th for our 2 championship contenders. Poor start for V6 eSports, Tom. Ollie, sorry. I did a boss-off moment then.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure what's going on with Overkills. I mean, down 10th place, maybe different strategy, but still, you always really start better if you're at the front, of course. But Janji gets pole with his teammate Height in second, Burnout in third, Peanut fourth, Vapid in fifth, Chris in sixth, Formula Ranger in seventh, Julian eighth, Harley in ninth, and Overkills in 10th place. Let us know your predictions in the chat as well. We've got lots of F-word this, F-word that, I support this person, I support that, but keep it going in the chat, guys. That's what we like to see, and I love in the Mrs. Brockway and Mrs. Caveman, the Macca Jones family bandwagon fan base thing.
We all love it. We all love it. But here we go. We're getting ready for one final time. Let's go racing for season 1 of ILR. And let's get ourselves ready for a championship showdown here in the desert. They called it the Duel in the Desert on ILR Twitch, and that's just the term that I'm going to use. But it is most certainly advantage Haas for this Grand Prix with a 1-2 and also their championship rival, the Williams drive overkills, way down in P10. So it's going to be a long and bumpy road for one final time. The only third time, in fact, that myself and Ollie have been in the combots together. Yeah, we've been busy.
Yeah, I think
Ollie,
so, yeah.
give us your final thoughts before we get underway.
I mean, I just want a clean, good race. I mean, I hope we have a title fight. Hopefully it goes down to the line like we've seen in previous races. I'm just hoping we have a good race, and hopefully the guys in the stream will enjoy it, Jack.
Indeed, I hope they do. But for one final time in ILR, let's go racing. Put up towards them 5 red lights. 4 and 5 are on at Abu Dhabi. Yas Marina Circuit is ready to be graced. A drive-through play over Peanut, but we're underway now here in Abu Dhabi. So Peanut immediately takes the lead. Gigani with a fairly start. Heighten on a fairly start. Natural Burnout is now on the outside of him. So the V6 lad can do his best to try and help him, but he can't quite do it. Vapiku is on the inside of him as well. Meanwhile, further down one from Rage, a little bit of a moment as well. But Julian, side by side as they go down towards turn number 3. Chris with a fairly quiet start as well. But massive scrap got on far behind, right in front of Overkills. They're all going side by side. 2 Red Bulls and the Williams as well. Going down towards turn 4. Overkills got to be careful, trying to swoop on the outside of Harley. And he's now going to try and take full advantage as well of Julian as they all make contact towards turn 7. But up towards the leaders, it is Gigani who now leads because he's passed him. Sorry, Janji leads. Peanut now drops to P2, Height P3, Burnout P4, relatively calm between all the leaders as Peanut jumped the start dramatically on lap number 0, but early on, Ollie, relatively calm but massively chaotic towards the back.
Yeah, it is. Bumper cars Grand Prix here at the back of the grid. Overkills almost getting spun through the chicane on towards the National Straight, but he seems to have got past both the Red Bulls and the Sauber in P7. So a good start from Overkill. He's got to put his head down and try and catch the leaders now. We've got, of course, Height in second. That's the guy he's got to aim for, and Gigani's got to be careful of. So still plenty more time for him to catch up. 28 laps, and he does go straight over the chicane there, so he's got to be careful of that front wing. But yeah, Jack, it's still pretty intense here on lap number 1.
Indeed, it's relatively sort of calm. So Peanut has got a drive for penalties. He's actually just run wide there at turn 12. I actually think he sort of let everyone through. He let Janji through, I believe. Then he let Height through. Now he's at Burnout. And now he's sort of letting Vapid and Chris go. So in actual fact, it's a good start for Chris overall because, of course, he's on the soft compact tyres and he's in P5. So he's doing everything he needs to do to make sure this thing goes out long and potentially going to be a dark horse for the race victory come the end of it. Peanut now serves his drive for penalties. So that means Overkill's over to P6. So 2nd and 6th on lap number 1. So no positions gained for Height, but a brilliant 4th-place position gain for Overkills, but he was ultimately involved in that massive scrap out of turn 3. I honestly thought that one of the Red Bulls could have potentially just gone across and just ended and ultimately crumbled like a delicious apple crumble Overkill's championship chances, but it still goes on, but it still continues to look a little unlikely, but it is all over the back of his former championship rival of Chris Macker-Jones. Now, I think he is not going to give him a rather nice time, Ollie.
I don't know, say that, Jay. Overkill's got to get past him as quickly as possible because of the tyre difference. And he looks like he's going to pop it down the inside going into the chicane. Can he make that move to Chris? Doesn't go defensive. Chris just let him pass, Jack. You said it's going to be difficult, but he's made it very easy there.
Maybe a little bit of fate. If you remember in 2008, the drivers were asked to route the entire field. Who would they rather win the championship, Massa or Hamilton? And loads of them said Felipe Massa. So ultimately, maybe it's a bit like that situation where people have been asked, who would you rather win, Height or Overkills? And Chris is clearly an Overkills fan. So the Chris squad ultimately have got to be following their main man Overkills for the time being. For a second time, it comes in for Julian early on, by the way. Who's currently in P7. He's about 5 seconds off the guys ahead of him. So the 2 guys, Formula Agent and Julian, were scrapping away further down. Harley did pit on lap number 1. Which I think was front wing damage, was it, Ollie, or did you not quite see that?
Formula Rage broke very early into turn number turn number 7, and he damaged the front wing of Harley, so that's why he's in the pits getting the front wing changed.
Yeah, but meanwhile, back up towards the leaders, by the way, Height is not losing touch to Burnout. Of course, Burnout, as you can see by the gamer tag, it's pretty obvious, is part of V6 eSports, so he is 1,000% going to be wanting to hinder this party that is Heights at the moment, because he's probably having a nice festival in that cockpit as it stands. He's now out towards turn 7. Obviously, DRS is now enabled, but crucially, Height does not have DRS. He's dropped out of the second window to his fellow Haasman, which is a little bit surprising because you would have thought there'd been a bit of teamwork going on there. But early on, Janji has been allowed to perfectly go on and lead this Grand Prix and do what he's done numerous times this season. But so far, Height is definitely under pressure from the Williams lad.
And Overkill is just up to 4th place now, Jack. So it's V6 versus LE now, I believe. LE? I think that's right.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Legacy
Yeah.
Esports are part of the team. So
yes, I know. I just confirming that. So it's Legacy against V6 now. 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, Jack. So the fight has come together. That's what we wanted to have.
Indeed, us being neutrals, of course, we wanted this to go down to it. We wanted it to be just like this, and for the moment, we have it. 1.7 seconds between the two V6 lads, 7 tenths between Height and Burnout, but crucially, Height still continues to be outside of a second window towards Janji. So Fritz actually comes in for Height there. That could be clinical come later in this Grand Prix. That is not a good start. Harley also picks one up as well, but of course, with this being so close between everyone behind him, of course, you look at it actually at the moment, it could be as far down as P5, but still a long way to go in this Grand Prix. But that is not what he needs on his shoulders early on. Certainly something that he's feeling the pressure in that cockpit at this moment in time, Ollie.
Yeah, we've seen Hyde get quite a few penalties in the past, Jack. And I don't maybe it's just driving style, or maybe he's feeling the pressure already in this race. We'll have to talk to him afterwards if he's on the podium. But yeah, at first, a penalty on lap 4, Jack. So I think he's feeling the pressure. He's got Burnout right on his backside, and Overkills isn't far behind either. So yeah, I think the pressure's getting to the Haas driver, but still a long way to go, and I'm sure other drivers will get penalties here. Only that 4 of 28, so pit stops, back markers, anything can come into play in these races, Jack.
Anything could very much. Who knows what's going to happen in the next 24 laps? We're not quite sure, but every single lap continues to tick by and it continues to remain the same story as it stands, and they've run out of time. But we've still got a whole round of stops to go. We've got many different variables. Even Chris Macker-Jones could very much be himself involved, so the Chris Macker-Army can get nice and happy yet again. But he could very much be himself a bit of a dark horse. Vapid Coot as well. If these guys start to battle, he could very much be on the back of this train and see what he could do. Is actually Chris picks up a 3-second time penalty as well. So everyone seems to be falling rather prone to the old corner cutting in the early stages of the Grand Prix, which is not really what you need because it's going to carry over your head for the rest of the Grand Prix. But so far, it looks to be clean slate. Most lads. By the way, Height is going insanely slowly, and actually he's just hit Burnout. I think Height's disconnected. Height is disconnected from the lobby, and Overkills takes P2. Unbelievable. He now drops out of the 4th position, and now it's advantage Overkills because of a disconnect. You cannot quite script this. It has come out of absolutely nowhere, and internet has strucken like lightning down onto the ground on lap 5, and it's not even the battle we wanted to see, and Height is now falling down the order in this. Oh, that's unbelievable. That is so harsh.
Yeah, they're unbelievable.
Oh, Ollie.
I've got no words. I mean, of all things to happen at the final race, the duel in the desert, the way you could win F1 2018 for absolutely free and win a championship, and the internet goes, nah, mate, I'm just going to disconnect. He's out. He's out. Unless he can get back in the lobby, it's Overkills has won the championship. He's won. I don't know what to say, Jack.
Well,
I do not know what to say.
It's speechless, it is confusing, and it's ultimately unbelievable. And you've got to say, you feel really sorry for Height at the moment, but the thing is you say it's over, but it's still not technically over because, of course, it is advantage Height. So Overkill starts to get more than 7 points, but at the moment he's doing everything he can. It's in P2, so it looks unlikely that he is going to drop points. By the way, when we had Height have that massive drop, I did see a bit of front wing fly off. That was from Burnout, so now Vapid Coot is on the back of him. And actually as well, I did forget this, Vapid Coot is actually also a part of Legacy Esports. So we still have that Legacy Esports against V6 Esports battle, but it's not quite in the way that we wanted it. As Burnout runs massive wide as he's struggling with that front wing damage, he's surely not going to run towards turn 20. Surely Vapid will try on the outside there. No, the Scotsman thinking better of it. Surely into turn 1. Nope. Burnout says that's enough for me. He comes in, and that means Vapid's now into P3. And ultimately, that clears him as well of his teammate ahead of him. So it's 3 seconds between Janji, or nearly 4 seconds, sorry, between Janji and Overkills. And the championship has just turned on a dime.
It has, Jack. I'm just trying to get Height back in the lobby, actually. Just asked me to invite him back. So hopefully, maybe this title fight might not be over yet So we'll have to see. I'll try and get him as quickly as possible. So you continue going, Jack, while I try and get the championship contender back in the lobby.
Yeah, I most certainly will. But as it stands, of course, now we already saw a comeback drive needed from Overkills in qualifying. We've now got a mid-race comeback needed from Height. He's now dropped to P6. He's now behind everyone except for Julian and Peanut. Of course, Peanut served the drive-through penalty, so technically he's not really, but he is actually in the scrap with Julian and Formula Rager, actually. As Julian now gains P6, Height drops to P7, 1.3 seconds behind is P8 of Peanut. And of course, this is only helping. This is only adding time and adding more security to Overkills grabbing this Season 1 championship in ILR Tier 2. But what a devastating way to lose it. But we've got to look at the track battles on action, on track at this moment in time. See, I can't even speak, I'm that shocked. And as it stands, Chris Macker-Jones is starting close up towards Vapiku on the soft compound tyres. Get the Jones Army out, boys. Get your clapping, get everything you want, because the Mercedes driver's looking on the offensive of the Renault. Down towards turn 19 now at 20 we're about to come up to, and very much so Chris looks strong on them soft combat tyres. It might have been a strategy call from the gods, but of course rain's not scheduled, so it's not as if he's trying to go out before rain comes, because we're in the middle of the desert. The clue was in the name of the title, the jewel in the desert. They're now out towards lap number 7. Turn 1 awaits. This first section could be clinical. Vapiku looking to be rather vulnerable on them ultra soft tyres, and Chris looking strong on them soft compound tyres. As it stands, he's dropping time to Overkills, which is just what Overkills want. It's probably what the doctor ordered for him, and then some. But now towards this first DRS straight, Vapiku struggling with the back end just that a little bit. Chris can smell the opportunity. He's now out towards turn 7, now down the first of the 2 DRS straights. Let's see if he'll get them moved done in towards turn 9. Down they come now. DRS enabled now, and now he has the advantage of that straight line speed. Here goes the Mercedes. He's prowling towards turn 9, and he's going to let the inside line short in towards turn 8. Round the outside goes Chris Macker-Jones on Vapiku, and I think he has the move done, and yes, he does. Vapid ultimately actually lets him go relatively easy. So it's the former championship contender who has P3, and Vapiku is down to P4 and will probably be comfortable there because he's 14.4 seconds behind. He is slightly closing up in the second DRS zone, but not quite close enough for a move just yet. Chris looks brilliant on them soft compound tyres and is really taking advantage of the early parts of this Grand Prix. Meanwhile as well, the man who's pit burnout has just passed a man a bit early in the Grand Prix, which was Harley. So that is clinical for him, because now he has a bit of clean air ahead of him as he tries to sort of fill the gap that he has to his teammate early on. Any luck with Height so far, Ollie?
He's just joined back, Jack. He is very far down. He's let's look at the gap to the leader. He is 37 seconds behind the leader, so he's going to struggle, but we've seen crazier things in Formula 1, Jack, so we'll keep an eye on what Height can do. He's back in the lobby. Hopefully he can get his head down and try and fight back through the grid.
Indeed, he needs to really, really knuckle down in this final part. This is what really proves a champion, when you can drive on situations like this and still turn out a result. Formula Rager has just come into the pits. We've got a yellow flag out in sector 3. I think that is for for Height actually rejoining into the lobby, because it usually does that just to warn drivers. But Formula Rager is into the pits, so he's the first guy to probably do his first schedule stop, really, has got to be said. Burnout will probably occupied by front wing damage. Formula Rager, it's interesting, he's gone on to another set of ultra softs there. He's gone for a 2-stop. As meanwhile as well, Peanut actually, I believe, has just been let through by June. Of course, Peanut served a drive-through penalty. He's already caught up towards the Dutch man, and he's now got past him. And actually, Julian gives him a little bit of a love tap there on the arse as they come out of turn 7. But let us know, your guys, of course, your thoughts in the chat. 17 viewers at the moment in this stream. By the way, Formula Rager has just about come out ahead, and actually as well, I think that's a timing glitch actually, because Height is definitely ahead, unless he's been lapped. I doubt he's that far behind, so I'm pretty sure actually is Height P9, Formula Rager P10, unless I'm wrong, because my time screen, actual fact, he's got an engine failure on my screen apparently.
Yeah, he's just going down, smoking like a tugboat on track. I'm not really sure what's going on with Height's car, but he's also technically ahead of Formula Ranger on track as well. So I'm not really sure what's going on with the timing screen there between both those drivers. So game's playing up, I think.
Let's hope it resets itself at the sector split. Now Formula Ranger comes up surely, and I'll swap them. Nope, it's not going to. So it says that Height's in 10th, but we know that's not true. So if you are unaware, so now it's Height P9, Rager P10. That's your story. Height's still got a stop to go, of course, so in actual fact, he is still quite the way down. Yellow flag out sector 3. Oh, it's actually Julian who's walloped the wall at turn number 19, in between 19 and 20. So he's done what most drivers always fear about doing in that corner, having a bit of oversteer or even a bit of understeer and just careering into the wall, potentially a bit of throwing damage. But he has completely lost it and then tries to Colin McRae it into the pits. The ILR WRC Championship has just started, mate. If you want to go do that instead, that's just around the corner. You could try that. Colin McRae in here is not on. But anyway, lap 9 out of 28, and we're getting towards them first round of stops, and it's really sort of psychological between the two leaders. Only 3 seconds being apart of them. An undercut could be clinical for overkills here, Ollie.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Giangi's doing a great job up at the front. I mean, you've got to try something different. He's 2.9 seconds behind at the moment. He's not going to worry about height being down in 8th place technically with another game's glitching. I just see Juggler Comics here as a general glitch that he's had before. But yeah, I mean, Overkill's has got to do something a little bit different if he wants to get the win today. I mean, the pressure's off him slightly, so maybe he doesn't want the win yet. Maybe he just wants to chill. Maybe, you know, he's happy with where he is. But I think if he does want to win, he's going to have to try the undercut on Giandi, the man in the lead of the race at the moment.
They called Alain Prost the professor because he always finished exactly where he had to. He didn't want to do anything else that risky. And actually, as well, Giandi has just dived in the pits when Overkills now has the race lead, but he's still due a stop anyway. But they called Alain Prost the professor because he always finished exactly where he had to. He didn't finish higher, didn't finish lower. He just did exactly what he needed to do to win championships and get points. And Overkills most certainly seems he wanted to do that so far. Not really a frills man, but still, he gets the job done. That's all that really matters to him.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he just does what he needs to do. That's what we've seen Overkills do in the past, and that's what he'll do today. I think, like you said, very much like Alain Prost does what he needs to do to get the championship or the points that he needs. So he currently has the lead. Of course, Giangi came into the pits. Peanut and Bernard have a great little battle as well through sector 1, Jack. So I'd say I'm bold with that little battle.
Yeah, I did such a quick flick through it. It was actually Burnout got right up towards him. Of course, Burnout has made a stop. Peanut yet to stop. And Burnout simply went down inside at turn 1. Nice and easy move. And, of course, on fresh softs, he will actually get away. Giangi, by the way, has gone on to softs, expecting to go on to a one-stop strategy from here on out. But now it's crucial to see what Overkills does respond. Gap to Chris, 6.6 seconds. And that has been coming down. I've noticed over the past few laps. Actually, Overkills gets a 3-second time penalty as well. That's not going to help him because Height already has one. If you're unaware, Height is actually P8 because for some reason it appears that a lap has not gone through on his lap counter because it looks to be as if it's not counted. So in actual fact, it says 1 minute 21. So in actual fact, according to him, it's on lap 9 out of 10. But we know that he was still on the lead lap when he rejoined. So for due to notification with the stewards or whatever, if anything has to go for after the Grand Prix, we know at this moment in time, on lap number 10, Height is P8 as it stands. So Overkill's in as well. So the current man who's going to walk out of this with the championship is into the pit and responded to Giangi's undercut. And I think he's done enough to not come out that far behind because he was about 3 seconds in the pits. He's gone onto super soft tyres, Ollie. Interesting call.
Yeah, it looks like 2 stops from Overkills. He has lost a second to Giangi on the lap. And let's see who will come out on top. Giangi Overkills. Giangi is absolutely miles ahead, actually. So Giangi does the undercut, and that works like a treat. Overkills will come out directly behind him. Let's just double check on the interval. So he's actually lost about 2 seconds in that pit stop phase, Jack, to Giangi. So, but again, he's on a different strategy. So we'll see how he can play that. He's going to have to overtake Giangi as quickly as possible for that strategy to work out, though. Unless you can get them to the end, Jack. We never know. There's some interesting strategies from these drivers in the past, and Overkill's maybe doing something different. Like we said, he's essentially got the championship as the moment. Hopefully, don't commentators curse him. So maybe he's trying to risk something else. His Height gets a 10-second time penalty for cutting corners.
He's just spun actually at turn number 5, and I'm not quite sure. He's now parked up on the side of the road. I think this just might be frustration from the Haas driver. Let's see what he does. He's just now let Peanut through, who's now in P8. When actual fact, it now means he's actually in P9 overall, because of course the timer screens are glitched. But he's now down, he's actually still puffing out smoke as if he's like a steam train going down towards that corner. Chugga, 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 chew, chew for the Haas driver, but he's now down towards there. I think it might have been a small mistake, and ultimately I think it's just frustration from him ultimately, because what a way to lose a championship because of a disconnect. Because your internet decided it was just going to not want to work for a brief moment Jandy just passed Vapid, but Vapid is actually now coming into the pits, and he actually goes faster than 39.8. So the Haas driver, and he's 6 seconds behind Chris, and he's got a pit stop ahead of him. So that is almighty lead for Jandy. I've got to say, he's working these soft tyres an absolute treat in their early stages.
Yeah, he's like we said, he's an incredible driver. I constantly see him in the chat posting times quicker and quicker. As well on the F1 leaderboards, he is a rapid driver in this tier, and it shows that he's only 5 seconds behind Chris, and Chris hasn't even pitted yet. So it shows how quick the Haas man is. Overkill's 4 seconds behind him, and Burnout, the V6 teammate, is 12 seconds behind Overkill. So these guys are a little bit spread out at the moment, but there's still plenty of battling on track. Vapid and Harley are very close to the track as well, but Height is in the pit. Will that fix his car? Will it stop smoking now? To wait and see. He's going onto the soft tyres, Jack. Is that front wing change? No, just the tyres, it seems, for Height onto the soft tyres, and he'll be going to the end, I believe, but he is still smoking like a steam trim, like you said, Jack.
Yeah, indeed. He seems to want to just keep going. But it's nice to see that he's still in it. He's still not giving up, really, which I suppose is rather wrong. We saw it back in 2016. Actually, I believe it was 2014, actually, when Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton went battling away in the double points old-fashioned way that they decided to do it for that year. And you got to remember, he actually had an issue during the Grand Prix, and he fell down the order, but he decided, no, I'm going to stick it out and I want to go to the end. So that's very sportsmanlike from Height so far in this Grand Prix, even if you've lost the championship in possibly the worst way imaginable. There's things that are done in the worst way possible. Broken up by a text, that's your starter. Second of all, you got to say, when you go to eat a bag of chips and a seagull nicks them. Third of all, disconnecting in the championship finale when you're scrapping away for F1 2018 on the cards. For a free copy nonetheless. You don't have to pay a penny, as Janji's just picked up a 3-second timer as well, which now means there's equal gains between himself and Overkill's. That's the battle on action on track, but now, ultimately the championship fight seems to be just fading away in our hands. There was so much hype build up towards it, and a disconnect might potentially ruin it, and that's just tragic.
Yeah, it is really unfortunate. It's not like it's not what we like to see, Jack. As commentators, you don't want to see disconnect. We want to see a clean, nice battle for the championship. I mean, luck comes round in roundabouts, and hopefully it'll come back to Height at one point during F1 2018, of course. It's just not like what we want to see, and hopefully the next game multiplayer is a little bit better regarding connections and the rest of it. But we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, at the moment we've still got 15 laps remaining of this race, and hopefully you guys are still enjoying in the Twitch chat as the drivers come under the lovely hotel complex here in Abu Dhabi to just to finish off lap number 13 with Chris still leading, but of course Chris does have to pit at one point in this race.
Indeed, I probably expected him around about lap 20 or something, then just potentially just absolutely throttled it on a set of Ultrasofts towards the end of the Grand Prix. But Janji is closing up towards him, so let's see if Chris is going to let him go or if he's going to give him a scrap. But Overkill's continues to set fast lap 39.3 just coming in for the Williams. He set another fast lap last lap. I didn't get quite a chance to see what lap it was, but it looked to be Bristol. But of course, Janji on fresh softs. Overkill's still pushing on in fresh softs, and very much so. If Chris slightly holds up Janji here, Overkill's could have the opportunity he needs to get past him. If he is trying the one stop, then this is the crucial phase for him to get close and pass Janji early on the stint before then Supersoft start to really feel the effects at the end of the Grand Prix. But as it stands, it really is advantage Janji, because all he's got to do is just maintain the gap behind him, but also get past Chris as soon as possible. So it's not really advantage anyone, because everyone has a disadvantage. But Janji is definitely closing up towards Chris here, Ollie.
Yeah, he's really putting his foot down and really catching Chris. I wouldn't surprise me if Chris lets him pass because of the tyre difference. You're not going to get him in this section. I can imagine he'll be single file through the last sector, Jack, as it tightens up in this last little bit. But he is... Oh, he's actually just tapped it down the inside. And, he's straight over the curb there. Taking out the bottle. The bottle's gone to Narnia. And Yanni's trying to get past. Can he go around the outside here? That's not going to stick. Or he might do the Haas driver. Can he make that move stick? Oh, there's more contact between the Mercedes and the Haas driver. Still side by side underneath the hotel. This is absolutely brilliant racing. And he's pushed him wide there, Janji. Maybe not the cleanest move, Jack, but he's gone past him.
That was a sign of someone who just wanted to get a movement, and I think Chris has picked up front wing damage from that on the front left, because there was a massive wallop that they had during that scrap. But we have seen a bit of on-track action now, but Janji was just impatient. I think personally he should have just waited for his opportunity. It was clear that he was quicker, and it was clear that coming out of the traction zones he was going to have an opportunity. But instead he tried to dart up the inside at possibly one of the most unlikely corners on the track and said, yep, I'm going for it. And they sat side by side through that incredible triple right-hander, this 15, 16 and then 17. That was just insane from the pair of them, but Overkills is now the next man to get past Chris, and let's see if he deals with this nice. He's got DRS down towards turn 8, so surely he must be able to do a nice simple move here. 3 tenths behind before the DRS, now it's enabled, has little of the inside, and surely the Williams have a nice easy move. Yes, on the inside line, and the Mercedes concedes defeat on this one, because of course it was relatively clean from him. So extremely aggressive, but ultimately it's probably what Janji needed, because he probably thought about Chris trying to hold him up, but still aggressive moves like that and some real wheel-to-wheel racing. By the way, of course height is actually of course P10, but Julian has just disconnected from the session, so he might have P9 now. So excitement further down.
Yeah, height technically is last now with his recent pit stop. Actually being caught by the leaders, actually, he's not far. It's only about 20 seconds split him and Janji, so hopefully don't have any more pain towards Height's well, combined pain of disconnecting and being last in the race, but we'll have to wait and see. Janji's still leading, Overkill's in second. He has closed the gap now is 2 seconds, but him and the leader. Chris continues going with that front wing damage. Bernard having a bit of a chill session back in P number 4. Vapid isn't too far behind him, actually. 2.2 split, 4th and 5th. Formula Rage is in no man's land, 16 seconds behind Vapid. Peanut isn't too far behind him, though, in P7. Harley in P8, and Height technically P9 now as he weaves on the straight. It really shows he's not happy, Jack, and I think he's quite pissed off now.
Yeah, that's putting it lightly. I would be pretty livid if this happened to me on a championship decided day. Fortunately, I've only ever been in one and I've won it, so I know what it feels like to grab the victory, but I've never been in a situation like that. Overkill's now just under 2 seconds behind Janji. Now, it'll be interesting to see what the Williams does, if it really does go for it. Of course, we've mentioned numerous times, Janji, of course, is actually part of Legacy eSports, which as well have height in their roster. So the question is will the V6 lad be slightly hindered here by him? But I don't think it'll be too much, because them super tyres look to be strongly working beautifully for the Williams driver, as Chris continues to drop time to the pair of them. He's got a nice safe gap towards Burnout. Maybe a sign as well, by the way, because of the gap to Vapid Coupe as well. Actually come out P5, and then he's got to do a bit of cat and mouse game with both Vapid and Burnout. When he does inevitably pit, and Burnout actually gets a 3-second time penalty as well, which is not going to help him one bit, because he's under 3 seconds clear of Vapid Coupe. But 1.8 seconds still continue to separate leaders, and if he is going to go for the one stop, when will we probably expect them tyres to start? So actually there's Height on the inside line. He's going slowly, just a man.
Yeah, nicely letting them all through. I was slightly worried that he'd try and, as a back marker, try and mark up someone's race, but luckily he's nice and kind and let them all through. But Chris into the pits, Jack onto the super soft, so they'll easily make the end 11 laps, and he'll be pretty quick. And Burner actually, Burner will get him, so will Vapid. Actually, yeah, Vapid will get him. So Chris will come out in P5. But again, on those very quick super soft tyres, Jack, so I can imagine the Chris Mac-Jones fan base are going wild for Chris to try and get back on the podium today in Abu Dhabi to round off an up-and-down season for Chris Mac-Jones.
Indeed, an up-and-down season that unfortunately didn't end with what he only wanted, which was the championship. But still, now got a good chance to come back. 1.3 seconds, now 1.2 actually behind Vapid, and then 1.7 seconds behind him, so 2.9 between the front of that train. But it is currently actually a Williams 2-3 in this Grand Prix. It was actually a Haas 1-2 for a long time, but now Formula Rage has come in by the way. Of course, Height continues to sit in 8th gear, bobbing around the track with his lovely smoky engine. But meanwhile, up towards leaders, of course. Overkills, by the way, has stopped really gaining time on Janji just recently. So maybe this is kind of the phase that I was expecting. Maybe the crossover phase between the softs and super softs becoming the better tyre has just really kicked in, and Overkills is now going to potentially start to struggle to close up towards him. So I think Janji personally has absolutely done a brilliant bit of Italian horsepower over these last few laps. Of course, the man from Toscana at the moment is doing a brilliant job leading this Grand Prix, and has played it nice and calm while it's been all carnage and monster raving behind him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how old Janji is. I think he's quite young, but he's got a solid brain on him with his strategies and everything during the multiple races that he has participated in the last couple of weeks. I mean, he's been excellent as Harley gets a penalty, but it looks like Chris is on the back of Vapid Coupe as they come through the first sector. Can Chris get in before the straight? Doesn't look like he can. Vapid on the super soft as well. No moves as of yet. They come through the chicane towards the hairpin, and Burnout is in this battle as well. So Burnout will not get DRS. Will he lose 2 places here, Jack, as they come on to the first of 2 DRS straights?
I don't know, because of course Vapid doesn't have much DRS, but of course Chris on so much superior tyres, you expect him to try and get past immediately. But down towards turn 8, he's not quite close enough because he hasn't got that extra benefit straight line speed on Vapid. He's got that ultimately on Burnout, but of course Burnout has a car in the way, and it's pretty hard to pass both cars at once. But now down towards this second section, and if he's going to try and move his Chris, it'll be here, down towards this section at turn 11, and ultimately squeeze him out towards 12. But again, because of the double DRS, he's not close enough, and he'll have to wait for his opportunity. Vapid a little bit deep there and towards 11, but ultimately that's going to hinder his run towards 13, but he's not quite close enough just yet. So now go for the move. Now here comes the double rights, where we saw Chris go side by side with Janji, it was, sorry. I couldn't even get the name out then, but down towards the braking zone they come at 17. Not quite close enough just yet. Brakes a little bit later than Vapid. So ultimately he's thinking about the defensive game and maybe not thinking about the offensive of Burnout. But Burnout is definitely holding Vapid up and allowing him to be vulnerable down towards turn 20 at the penultimate corner. Surely not Chris. No, backs off, thinks better of it. But now out towards turn 1 they come, out of turn 21. This will be where you want to try and get a better exit down towards 1. He has got a fair his exit as Chris. He's on the inside line now towards turn 1. No, ultimately slots in behind again. I thought he was going to get a better exit of that, but it didn't quite look like it. Unfortunately, the broadcast cam did not quite indicate that. A bit of oversteer, actually, a bit of a sort of weave from Burnout. But now out towards turn 3, down towards turn 4 they come, towards the first second split on the outside. Now shifts to the inside line, does Chris, in towards turn 4. Surely that skips across the corner there at turn 4, and he has P4 now at turn 4. Now he's got to try and get the move on Burnout. He's done one, now he's got to try and do the other. Down at the first of the 2 DRS straights they have on offer. Lap number 19 out of 28. Not long of racing to go. And I think ultimately, if Chris can get this done, this will conclude pretty much all of the racing he has throughout this Grand Prix. And it was a fantastic move done past Vapid. But can he get past Burnout here, Ollie?
Yeah, that's the question on everybody's lips. The Chris Maccajones fan base is going absolutely wild in the chat, Jack. And they're loving the moves that Chris is making. Can he do anything down the second DRS? Can he go late on the brakes? He fix the inside, trying to put off Burnout here, but not making anything sick through there. Single file through this section. We've seen Janji do it, but can Chris do it? No, Chris does not join the Mad Italian here, but can he go around the outside? We've seen moves in the past from multiple drivers. Could we see it through here? I'm on the wrong camera. No, Chris still can't get past. He might have to wait until he's on the pit straight once again, Jack. But I mean, we see overtakes from these drivers in all sorts of different places. You don't normally see in real life F1, so we might see one of these from Chris as they start lap number 20. Ooh, almost time down the inside there, Jack. Trying to put off Burnout, but can he make the move down the inside on the start of lap number 20? No, still staying behind him at the moment, Jack, but Chris looking very feisty.
Indeed, he is now coming out towards turn 2. He's very much looking like he wants to try and get past as soon as possible. But if you keep faking, lad, you're never going to get the move done, because ultimately you can fake so many times. But now towards turn 4, not close enough to stamp on the brakes there for this moment in time. But surely he'll try and get a better exit again out of the hairpin, down towards 7. Will he try it? Let's have a little look. He now comes out, massive slap of oversteer there for Burnout. That's going to hinder him. That's ultimately might be the thing that loses him this final podium place in this Grand Prix. Down the inside goes Chris, he now shifts to the inside. Now there's going to be a chance to attack. Surely not. Here they go, side by side. Williams against Mercedes, and I think Chris has it done before even hit the braking zone. A brilliant bit of straight line speed from Chris means he has P3, and ultimately the Mercedes is back onto the podium where he was, 24 seconds behind the leaders, so I think it's pretty much done there. Vapid will continue to sort of tail with Burnout as he tries to make that one-stop last, but Overkills is massively close up towards Janji as he just picks up a 3-second time penalty, Ollie.
Yeah, just looking at that gap, it was very close. I flicked back onto this battle. Both Janji and Overkills do have penalty jacks, so they are equals at the moment. Of course, Overkills on slightly fresher tyres, but of course we still don't know whether he's doing a 2-stop or not. And our commentators curse him as usual. By myself, he's now got 6 seconds worth of penalties. So I do apologise, Overkills. That's probably my fault. But Janji still leads on the soft tyres. I'm surprised Overkills' tyres haven't fallen off the cliff yet, but he may be going to the end. He may be doing one more stop. We'll have to wait. And he's got plenty of time actually, Jack. If he does want to pit, he'll come out in second place still with the gap to Chris. So you may see him come into the pits. But further back, Vapid's all looking very tasty behind Burnout. So he's the closest battle we've got on track at the moment, Jack. Actually, it's Peanut and Harley Harley.
It is actually Harley is closing right up towards Peanut. Now, I actually believe, Harley has come in for a second stop, whereas Peanut trying to do a one stop here. Actually, no, I think he came in on like lap number 1 for them super tyres, so surely. Oh, no, he did drive through, sorry, no, he didn't. It was a normal strategy, so ignore me. I don't know what I'm talking about half the time, but out towards turn 4, bit of drop of lag there from the parent, that's a bit worrying. Please, good God, do not end it in contact. But now they're out towards the first of the 2 DRS straights. Will Harley have a little on the inside? No. Peanut can ultimately, he's not going to quite defend it, but ultimately just sort of left his car in the middle of the track and just said, nah, you're not going to go through there, so I'll just come to try and get a good exit, and ultimately he has. But now they're down towards this section now, the chicane section before the second DRS straight. Harley is closing up and closing up. Will he try an ultimately momentum lunge? No. Thinks much better of it as per usual, and now he's out towards that predominant corner. That seems to be what the name of this Grand Prix has, the thinking better of it Grand Prix so far, because every single move that I seem to commentate on seems to be thinking better of it. But now they're out towards this little section now, towards the third sector, and still Harley not going to quite go for the move just yet. I'll try and see if we can flick quickly across to Vapid when we get the opportunity, because he is actually still going to stick to the back. But Harley has got super glue on that front wing, because he's not going to want to let go at all in this third sector. Now towards 70, we're trying to stamp on the brakes on the inside line. Nope. Nowhere near enough of the momentum needed for that. You sort of want to try and swing your way out and then always stamp on the brakes Why am I saying that? Because I don't know what I'm talking about. Dive bombs. But out towards 19. He's looking at the inside. Now surely not towards the penultimate corner. Peanut forced to go defensive on the inside line. Can't quite do it now to switch back towards the final corner. It's going to be on for Harley. Down the inside he goes for P number 6. And he has it as well. And now he's going to have it back towards turn 1. Will Peanut, because he has the inside line. Will Peanut only able to defend it by long-term thinking. Down towards turn 1. And yes, a stamp on the brakes was in order. But the switch back again towards 2. Ultimately might be on, and I think round the outside he goes towards 3. And the momentum around the outside is enough for Harley. And he cuts in as if he's about Ford Transit down the M1, only cutting people off doing his liveries. He has P6, and that's a joke. Sorry, that was meant towards my dad because he's a livery driver. But anyway, enough about that. It's Harley P6, Peanut P7. Sorry.
I'd say more like a BMW driver cutting up people on the motorway, but that also, I mean, both work. I mean, I appreciate that. It was a quite good joke with the Transit, but yeah, Harley, great move through section. Oh no, it's contact between Peanut and Harley, and that is out. The McLaren is out at the end of the straight. Oh, where did that come from, Jack? Side by side towards the end of the DS straight, and that is out. Where did that come from? Oh my word, Jack. The McLaren driver's out. Harley's got damage to that front wing. I did not see that happening.
I'll be honest with you, I didn't see it. I shifted towards Vapid, and then all of a sudden I just hear you shout, and I immediately go back to WL Peanut, and it's DNF. And I was like, oh no, what have I just missed? But, well, yeah, that must have sprung out of nowhere, because I didn't expect it.
I don't know whether it was a side pod glitch, or it was contact, of course, but I don't know whether Harley didn't see Peanut, or I'm not quite sure, but it was a huge contact. Peanut goes straight into the wall on the left side, cuts back across the track, takes out Harley's front wing, I believe. Is he? Actually, no, he's got no damage at all on that front wing, so it was all McLaren. So, yeah, I don't know whether it was a racing incident, or maybe there was some sort of motive there from one of the drivers. The last race of the season, hopefully you don't have that sort of thing in IRL Tier 2, but you never know with some of the drivers. But yeah, that promotes Formula Rage, and Julian, who was just put in the chat, I paused to avoid a corner cut disqualification long. So, Julian is still technically in the race, but he's not in the race, Jack, because he's just paused it. So he's waiting until the final lap. I don't know whether he counts as finishing the race if he does that. I don't know. I think that's cheating, Julian.
Yeah, I don't quite know really. I suppose you could say it either way. I'm sure if it only works in Height's favour, he will most certainly be straight to the stewards board about that. ILR Charlie 1 was certainly busy in the stewards box for that one. Vapid, by the way, has continued to contact towards Overkills. I thought he was a little on the outside, but he's not quite. So I thought, while I had a brief moment, I'll have a little look at the other tiers. So it appears that Tier 1 has had a restart. I don't quite know the reason, but they've had to have one as Vapid gets a 3-second time penalty. And I haven't quite had a look at ILR3 just yet. Of course, they're in a scrap between Livs and... Who was the other guy? I can't remember his name. Sorry. I do apologise if you're watching the stream because I have forgot your name. But meanwhile, in Tier 1, of course, it's Danny M7, Tier 1 Leopard and Tier 1 Martin who could wrap up. But of course, we don't care about them at the moment. We just care about Overkills and Janji. But it's been a bit of a flop, unfortunately. I do apologise if you came to watch an almighty championship scrap because it's really not happened because of a disconnect. That's the only words we can use. A disconnect has ruined this championship opportunity. And I'm sorry if I sound a little bit off as if I'm trying to sound off, but unfortunately that is just the simple and plain fact. A disconnect has ruined our championship opportunity of a scrap. Ollie.
Yeah, it has. 4 laps remaining here in Tier 2, of course. The fun tier, so this is where all the action usually happens and all the laughs, but more crying than laughing this race, unfortunately, for Height. But Overkills, he is going to the end, it looks like, Jack, on the super soft, so I suppose I haven't fallen off the cliff. He's even closer to Giangi than he has been in the past, 6/10, but first and second. Chris was gaining ever so slightly per lap, but he's... I'd be amazed if he can close down 22 seconds in 3 laps. I'd love to see something like that happen, but I can't see it happening here now. But Derby Burnout, 6 seconds behind, but Vapid is still 4 tenths behind him. So another battle to stay on board with here. Harley in 6th, Formula Rage in 7th. Julian is actually unpaused it now, Jack. So Julian's racing again. Luckily, he did say in the chat that he's going to unpause it, so he's back on track. And in Height is the man in last, unfortunately, man who's had such a bad lap today, and still chugging like a train, tugboat, chain smoker, whatever your analogy is. He's still going.
Oh, sorry, Overkills on Janji down towards turn 8. He's on the inside line as the Williams, and Janji squats across him and completely slices that door for him. But now look at a much better exit than Super Soft tyres ultimately, and a better exit as a momentum provides him. Now down towards this section of 11. Will he try on the outside line? He's going to have a look, and they're side by side. The Haas against Williams, not quite the Haas and the Williams we wanted to see, but they are side by side. Janji against Overkills, and Janji squeezes and shuts the door. It still is advantage Janji because of the time penalty, and Overkills a little bit of drop of oversteer there out of that exit. Whether he just had a little bit of problems there, in actual fact, I'm not quite sure. For a brief moment, I thought he had a puncture. I thought it was Tyrrell Martin at Brazil-esque in Tier 1, but no, we're okay. It was just a slight switch of oversteer, but it's definitely a sign that maybe he's starting to wilt on them super soft tyres now.
Yeah, I mean, there was a slight tap from Giangi on his rear right tyre there. I don't know whether that caused him to go a little bit wide onto the dirty stuff and then losing the back end maybe, or like you said, Jack, it's his tyres. So, I mean, maybe not the cleanest of defences there from Giangi, but he is still leading the race at the moment, and the gap now back to 2.2 seconds, Jack. So Overkills going to put his foot down if he wants to close that gap and try again past the Italian in first place.
Indeed. Now, of course, he has to still get 3 seconds over because it still is advantage Janji, but that was definitely a knock on the door for him. It really came out of nowhere, really. He just got a good exit out of the hairpin, and then only he just all of a sudden came in. He's like, I didn't expect it as well. I was just on board with the battle, and all of a sudden he was there side by side. So maybe it's a sign that Overkills has gone for maybe a bit more of a quicker setup in terms of his straight line speed compared to Janji. Maybe Janji a little bit more conservative thinking about the corners. Or I could be wrong. It could just be that DRS was just absolutely superior on that Williams. And only maybe there's a slight DRS plus button they have, so you might have a fake of sport and you have sport plus in the car. Maybe He's got DRS and DRS Plus, which is just like 2 rear wings that open at once in a magical sensation. No, you can see it's not quite there. As Peanut has left. Peanut has left the session towards the end. Of course, he already retired anyway, so it doesn't actually matter. I thought he was still in. Sorry about that. I might be falling asleep. I think I need a kip. It's been a long day for me. But still, we've got just over 2 laps to go of this Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and ultimately the ILR Tier 2 Championship is about to come to a close, and surely Overkills is going to do it. Surely.
I mean, I've seen crazier things happen, Jack, if Overkills did retire in some sort of way. I cross my fingers that doesn't happen, and no one has any more unfortunate moments. But yeah, I think he's got it. He's got a lap and 3/4 to do to win and take the title. I think it's in the bag now, hopefully. Jack, I'll never know, do we?
We never know, and that's the thing. That's the beauty of what ILR is all about. You just never know what's going to show up and what you're going to be presented with on the day. It's an absolute nightmare for us commentators because we never know what exactly we're going to be talking on. We could be talking on a very boring race like we had at Japan, sorry, but it was. Or we could be having an absolute amazing dramatised race like you had at Belgium, where it just didn't want to stop between the 2 leaders. They were just going to go hammer and tong throughout the entire Grand Prix, and they just absolutely put on an absolute spectacle of a show. I still go back and watch that on your profile these days because it just mesmerises me every single time. But 2 laps, actually a sector and a lap to go of Overkills before he is potentially going to be crowned F1 ILR Tier 2 Xbox champion for Season 1. We're only in the first season, but things that promise high get to late 3-second time coming anyway, so that's really just salt in the wounds for the Haas driver. But still, his teammate is on to grab the race victory. He will not only take the fireworks, but the real celebrations will be at Williams because Overkills is surely going to do it. We've got just over a lap, and what can you say about this man that hasn't been said already, Ollie? Because he really has set the world alight this season.
So Overkills or Giangi?
Overkills.
Yeah, well, I mean, he had a great start to the season, Jack, and he had quite a few podiums, quite a few wins, and then he had a bit of a slump, and he was in the chasing pack then, trying to stay with height, and it sort of shows in the last race that he had to win the race to even have a chance of winning the title because height was still involved. But Overkill's a fantastic driver this season. I mean, I can't say anything more. He's a brilliant driver, and I wish him the best of luck in the next season of ILR if he continues racing in this league.
Indeed he does. We've got just over half a lap to go of the ILR Tier 2 Championship. Now, if you're in the chat, give us your thoughts of the entire season as a whole, because of course, let's face it, in league racing we don't often get many final day showdowns. It doesn't often happen. So when you do get one, there is a lot of buzz around it, and this one certainly had that. Of course, all 3 tiers in ILR had a title finale, which is not often you ever get that anywhere in league racing. Where you get 3 title showdowns on the same day. It's like a brilliant bit of action. If I was seriously not commentating on this, I would have 3 screens set up so I just couldn't take my eyes off. You just saw Hike smoking away in the background of Overkills. But then we've got to talk about, of course, is the Grand Prix itself, because Giangi has come around the final corner to claim P1. It will not be P3 in the championship. It will not be playing P4 because Chris is in P3. But round the final few corners, for the final time, for an absolutely dominant and brilliant display so far. Bit of a questionable defence towards the end, but the Italian is going to impress us again with another bit of masterclass again. Round the final corner for Giangi, but he wins. And ultimately, the real celebrations are at Williams. They run towards the pit wall because Overkills is ILR Tier 2 champion on Xbox. Unbelievable from him. He's done it, finally. And ultimately, it's brilliant for him. It's tears of both joy and misery at Haas, but it's delight and it's celebration and it's amazement for the Williams Martin Racing. They are ILR Tier 2 champions. Ollie, what a season we've just witnessed.
Yeah, it's been absolutely brilliant. Been there the whole way. Missed the odd race, but I'll make sure I get back on it. And it's been an absolutely brilliant race. The fans watching, drivers racing. I mean, guys, come back next season. I want to see you again. It's been brilliant, and hopefully we have another ecstatic season in ILR Season 2, Tier 2 next season.
Indeed, as round the final corner for the final few guys, Harley will take P6 by the way, Vapid took P5, Burnout took P4, so only a 2-4 for the two Williams, so still a very good day. Of course, I don't actually have the constructors in front of me, so I'm not quite sure about them, because of course it was actually a very close battle going underway between Haas and Williams, because of course Janji came in and he absolutely blew the world away. Height, by the way, was leading the championship by himself for Haas at one point, so that was a pretty incredible feat. But now, of course, with Burnout and Overkills, they've always been a consistent team, but Janji came along and he ultimately did score points, so it may have actually gone towards the team. It's actually Julian's going to end us off here with a bit of donuts. So the Dutchman fancies lighting the track up with a bit of tarmac, so come on lad, get it done. We want to get these podiums going to be done. We want to end this beautiful season. Let it draw to a close. We know you want it to continue to go, but unfortunately it can't go forever, lad. It has to end at some point. But Ollie, serious thoughts about the Grand Prix itself. It was, yeah, it wasn't quite Japan. It wasn't quite that level of, but it's still, yeah, it doesn't exactly describe ILR Tier 2 season very well, does it? Because it has been an unbelievable season.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's been a lot better than this race shows. You've had some excellent racing throughout the season, and a bit of an anticlimax, I think, Jack, to what the season has given us. The fans have been great, the drivers have been great, like I've said already, and it sort of sums up what this tier is. I put up a question in the chat going, let us know your driver of the day, and the first thing was the Chris Macajones fans came straight in. We go, Chris. It shows what this tier is all about, having some fun, having a laugh. And it's just, yeah, it's been brilliant. And yeah, like I said, the race hasn't been fantastic, Jack, but the whole season's been brilliant. And like I said, hopefully they come back and watch us next season. But the podium interviews very soon. If you've got any questions for us, guys, let us know in the chat. Yes, the chat on Twitter is kicking off, so I'll read it later. We'll maybe talk about that after, but we'll see. But they're great, of course, Jack. Janji wins, Overkill second, Chris in third, Burnout in fourth, Vapid fifth, Harley sixth, Formula Rager in 7th, Julian 8th, Height 9th, and Peanut the only DNF of the race.
Indeed he was. So in actual fact, despite the fact a 10-man grid, everyone was nice and calm and kept it in the lobby, even though Julian paused for half the Grand Prix and said he didn't want to get a corner cut penalty. But we'll get these three guys in to give us their final thoughts of Season 1 in Tier 2. Of course, we've got Janji, of course, one half of Haas, who are probably celebrating away but then you've also got a bit of tears on the other side. Overkills, who is probably absolutely over the moon with how this has gone. I don't think he quite pictured it in this way, but he's done everything he needs to do. And finally, of course, the Chris Macajones squad in the chat are going to be happy because we can give him his chance to give us his wonderful views of the Grand Prix. Now, of course, Janji, I'm not too sure. I don't think you've still got a mic, but of course, what we'll do is, if I ask you a question. Wait, no. That's not going to work, is it? We're just going to have to...
No, that's not going to work.
we'll be here for hours if we did that.
Yeah. Just read what he says.
Janji...
Just read what he said, yeah.
So, he just says, yes, P1. He said, congratulations to Overkills, because, of course, we all have to say it. Of course, he is now the Tier 2 champion, so we'll probably continue to say that for about the next 10 minutes, so sit back and enjoy, probably have a drinking game. Every single time we say Tier 2 champion, take a drink. Let us know. We're not responsible for any medical problems after this Grand Prix. But yeah, okay. So we'll move along to the man... Sugar rush.
Oh, Boyson.
That's what I'm worried about. Yeah, the sugar rush would be underway. I don't know how young our audience is from time to time, but we'll move swiftly along towards the Chris Macajones squad, the man himself, the man who finished third place in this Grand Prix. Chris, it was a good race for you in the end. Trying a different strategy, of course, starting us off. You had a good start to get up through the field. And was that on one of your plans, just go on the softs, think conservative early on, and then go for it at the end, thinking the long game? Or was that just general you?
Yeah, I mean, my pace around here isn't very good anyway, and the ultra soft tyre for me isn't a very good race tyre, so I thought I might as well do something different. Last race of the season, I'm not in the title fight anymore, so I just thought I'd do something different. I had a good battle with Burnouts and what's his name? When I came out the pits. Yep. That's the one. Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
And then after that, I was obviously, because Giangi and Overkills had already passed me before I pitted, I wasn't really going to catch them, so I just sort of had to settle it all for third, really.
Yeah, it was ultimately it's kind of a Grand Prix like that where it looked like as if third was going to be the highest you got, but you still got it. You've done two brilliant moves to get past. But of course, it's got this season. It's been a bit of up and downs for you, but you still got to take P3 in the championship. That's still a very decent championship.
Yeah, I mean, I can't complain for P3, especially with all my incidents and bad luck I've had. So I'll take it and move forward onto F1 2018.
One final question for myself then. Actually, you've pretty much just answered it for me. Will you be back for ILR Season 2?
I will be. Indeed.
That's good to hear. Ollie, any questions from the chat? Any questions from the Chris Macajones army about for Chris?
Doesn't seem to be any. All just giving you some love, mate. Just absolutely love you. Everything you did in the race. They're like, yeah, come on, Chris, my boy. The rest of it, they.
I do like a good overtake.
They do, and yeah, come back next season so we can continue with the Chris Macajones army, please.
Cool. I'll be back.
Fantastic.
That is awesome to hear, and we can't wait for it. So, congratulations again on P3, but we have to move on to the man who's probably sitting there waiting to give us his thoughts. The man who is crowned, take a shot, ILR Tier 2 champion of Xbox. But first of all, my friend, congratulations. First of all, did you expect this when you came into this league? Because it was very competitive.
No, but first race I was chatting with one of my mates who also drove in that first race, asking like, have you any experience with drivers, and he said it's very competitive, as you just said, and he'll struggle to be on the podium at every race, and so I was a bit panicky there. Didn't think I'd get the good results, but then obviously turned up in Australia, got the win, and then from then on I thought I knew championship was on because I was strong at most tracks on the calendar, but then obviously Height didn't race in Australia, so that's what caught my eye a bit, especially mid-season when he started to pick up some wins. But, happy to be.
Yeah, no, I mean, you had a pretty there's not a word for it, a bit of a topsy-turvy mid part of the season. Of course, I remember very well, in fact, because I remember commentating on it. The DNF at Canada was certainly the first sign that things were starting to really not go your way, but you picked it up, and the final part of the season was just really what the doctor ordered. It was a bit more of the luck going your way, getting the decent results that you needed to ultimately really defend the gap that you created for yourself. I think you were something stupid like 33 points clear off like 3 races, and I already said he's the champion already. So I'm glad you did win it, because I'd have looked like an absolute idiot from about 7 weeks ago. But my second question for you overall is just going to be about, well, I don't really know what to ask. What can you ask a man who was just, Ollie, take over, because I can't ask anything because I'm speechless.
So, Overkills, congratulations again for winning the title. Shot. Just sum up the season for us and the viewers as yours. How did you find the season in general?
Well, obviously enjoyed my time racing. It's been competitive. Had some great battles. Just
Spain, great battle. Sorry, just get that in there.
Yeah. Just happy with how it's all gone. I mean, to have battles is fantastic, but to come out on top of all of them and be crowned is probably the best feeling. Out of this league,
I can imagine, yeah. And you get a free copy of F1 2018 as well.
Do I? I thought that was just tier 1.
Oh, have we lied that whole season, Jack?
No, I thought it was tier 2. I thought it was like a matter of tier 2. Whether I'm wrong or not, I don't know. But anyway, I'll ask the question anyway. Are you back for season 2?
Of course.
That's brilliant to hear. That's just what the doctor ordered.
And
now,
maybe even quicker, because I'm unboxing my Logitech G920 tomorrow because it's my birthday. So this championship is an early birthday present for me.
Hey.
Well, happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the championship. Enjoy it.
Thank you. I certainly will.
Go celebrate with V6. I'm sure they're all waiting for you out of this press conference. They're probably all sitting there waiting with the champagne and going to start spraying you, setting you walk out your door in your bedroom. I don't know where you play a game, but wherever. But anyway, that will conclude ILR Tier 2. Ollie, thank you very much for joining me, my friend. Thank you to everyone who has joined me in the combots. It's been an absolute pleasure. Ollie, any final thoughts?
I just want to thank yourself, Jack, for joining me, and I'm joining you, different depending on who's lead. But yeah, for commentating with you, it's been a brilliant season. The 3 times we have commentated together. Thanks to the admin guys, of course, to give them a big shout out to run the league successfully, 3 whole tiers as well as PS4 as well. I just want to give a big thanks to Gorse, Jack, and all the rest of the guys as well. A shout out to the other commentators, all the drivers in the league, especially Overkills for winning the title, and of course all the guys who come in, week out to watch us commentate. It's been a pleasure, it's been a laugh, and we hope to see you again next season.
Indeed we do. Thank you guys very much for watching. That was ILR Season 1. That is the end of it. And see you guys, can't remember to say this, on F1 2018. Thank you guys very much for watching, and goodbye for one final.